Cool.
Divine greetings, beautiful kings and queens, friends and family from all over the world. We welcome you today for another amazing episode where we are sharing King Bobby's incredible healing journey with fruit. King Bobby has a really powerful story to share with you today. He has lost 126 pounds. Can you imagine? That's me. That's like a whole person. That's like a whole individual. You know what I mean? Like that is incredible. You have overcome alcoholism, addictions to prescription drugs. He has reconnected in a whole new way with his children, with his family, friends. He's also been overcoming depression, anxiety, acne, so many different issues, right? That come from poor eating habits. And he is here to share with us what he's been doing, how he's been inspiring the world. Not only is he healing himself, but he is creating a whole movement. It's called Fruit Up with Bobby Smith. He's got a Facebook group, and he starts these incredible challenges, like these smoothie challenges, these mono fruit challenges, and he is bringing so many people along on this incredible journey by shining his light, sharing his wisdom. He offers support. He does video calls. Like, I'm so impressed with you, King Bobby. We had an amazing interview the other day in our Kings and Queens, and I just had to bring you on to share with our wider audience and be able to share this video, make it more public, because this could save a life. This could save so many lives, right? So thank you so much for coming today. Share a little bit about you. What was life before? We want to know. And I'm so curious. My favorite question is like the turning point. Like, I love to hear about people's, enough is enough moment. So tell us a little bit about where you came from and when you just decided to change your life.
All right. Okay. Thank you for having me on too, Queen. I appreciate you. It was a wonderful experience last time. And well, first off, I'm Bobby Smith. I'm 37 years old, from Toledo, Ohio. I'm a fruitarian, fruit-based diet. I have two children. I come from a very dark, lonely, what would you call negative environment for the last, I say 20 years of my life. So back in February, when I was in that state of mind, I had decided to change my life. And I did that with going plant-based and stop drinking alcohol because I suffer from alcoholism. I was a hardcore alcoholic. And I'm talking about an extreme alcoholic, and I have been that way for like 10, 15 years. I was a bad person. I had bad relationships. My kids were in dismay. My relationships with their mothers were bad. The alcohol turned every relationship I had upside down. And that's what motivated me to change. I got tired of it. I was a very, very bad person. I used to hurt people's feelings on purpose, just so I could feel better about myself, because I had so many insecurities. And bringing people down, and just to go off from that for a second. When you're bringing people down a lot and you start feeling good about yourself, you still feel bad in a sense, and you wonder where it comes from. And that's that energy from what you put out, because it's still out there, and you hurt a lot of people. So before I go on, anybody that I ever hurt in my life or did wrong because of that person that I was, I apologize. Yes, because I'm not that person no more, and I can't find him no more to explain what he did to you. So I apologize.
Hopefully they see this video. Who knows who this will reach? I think it's beautiful to make amends. It's so honorable and humble to apologize. I just want to mention that, because it is hard to say sorry. It's hard to look at ourselves and say, I don't think you were a bad person, by the way. I think sometimes we do things unconsciously because we're in pain. You were suffering, you were in pain, you weren't you weren't happy, you weren't feeling fulfilled, you weren't feeling healthy. So I think it goes hand in hand, but it doesn't mean you were a bad person, you know, if you did things that hurt people. And I think that's the whole thing with recovery, with sobering up and really coming to terms. It's one of the steps in the AA, you know, is to make honorable amends, is to go to those we've hurt and recognize that. So I just want to commend you for doing that. And everybody can understand that you were going through a dark period, you were intoxicated, like all these things affect us on a chemical level in the body, in our mind. We're not the same people, we're not as kind, we can't be as kind because we're suffering. So maybe this will help also for people who are struggling with somebody, a loved one who has drugs and alcohol addictions, you know, to better understand them, that it's not necessarily personal, it's like they're going through a lot and it's hard for them. So continue. Thank you.
Thank you. No, but to continue on, yeah, so to get out of that dark state of mind, because I growing up and being around my peers, I always was considered like different in a sense. Like I knew the truth. I knew about Dr. Sebi. I knew about Yaki. I learned from the 13th son. I don't know if you know him or not, but he's an old school teacher from Tampa, Florida.
Son. No, tell me more. Wow.
Yeah, you might look up. He's an old school guy from the. I used to listen to him back in 2012, and that's where I learned a lot of knowledge from. So, but through the period, I was still drinking and going crazy. So, when I tuned into myself in February, I decided to do No Meat March. Me and a friend by the name of Fred Allen, he in like one of the groups I think with us. And he decided not to do it, but I kept going. And I started off replacing the alcohol with juice. And I was juicing everything. I started off juicing cucumbers, apples, whatever I could get my hands on to stop eating meat. And I was eating ramen noodles too to replace meat, just to, you know, replace it with something, because you know, I used
We've all been there. We've all been there when we start on the path, you know, we don't know what we're doing. We're just like, it's so good.
Facts. So, you know, you're replacing it with all this stuff. So once I did that, I started feeling better right away. And once I started feeling better, I started losing weight. And in May, I got down to 230 something pounds. Wow. And I was like, wow, you know what I'm saying? I started feeling good, and just seeing that weight made me like, I might got something going on here. I was excited. I don't know what. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna keep going. So I started putting everything into gear and started really eating more fruits and juicing more. And watermelon season had approached. And once watermelon season approached, is where I took off. I replaced all my water with watermelon juice.
Wow.
And I did that from basically April, March, the end of March till now. And I had like 70 seeded watermelons over the summer.
Wow.
And I started feeling so good at 230 that catapulted me to the path that I got on. But what happened is in May, I got into an altercation with my baby moms. Mm-hmm. And it's still what happened when we got in front of my son, like an altercation. And I was on the path and I started feeling better. So, but at that moment is where I realized like, I need to really tune in to myself and really get away from the negative energy and block people out. And I went away for 2 months basically, but I was still around. I was in the house going to work, and I tuned everybody out. I changed my phone number. You know what I mean? I sat down and I started digging into the fruits, and the juice is real heavy. And you gotta spend a long time. I started walking a lot, going into nature, you know, running, working out, and the weight was just dropping. I wasn't paying attention to the weight. I was paying attention to the progress of my mentality. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? I started feeling so much better, having so much more clarity. So, yeah, and that brought me here. You know, in September, I got back on Facebook because last year in October I took off of Facebook and for my birthday, and that's when I really decided that I was going to make the change in February. So got back on Facebook and started meeting beautiful people like you, and you know, realizing that break from Facebook, stepping back into this community, I have my own identity. You know what I mean? I'm not following nobody. I'm doing what I want to do. I do what I want to do because I do what makes me feel good. So I do take advice. I do learn and I do listen, but I don't listen to all the blah, 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 the gossip, the bullying and all that. I do what I want to do and create a path for myself and hope people follow that path to what I did.
Wow, I think that's so powerful, everything you're saying. And I think it's really important when we're on this spiritual journey to do what you have done, to take a step back from everything and just really reevaluate, is this relationship serving me? How am I feeling in this? Is this toxic? Like sometimes we don't even know, right? If we're in a narcissistic relation or if it's abusive until you step out of it and you're like, oh my gosh, this was really toxic. And also that affects our health too. That affects our behaviors, that affects how we eat, how we drink. Like if we're in sick relations, it will completely take over our entire physiology. It will, make us be in fight or flight all the time. The cortisol levels are out of whack. We can't lose weight. There's so many different effects on the nervous system, all of that. So I think it's really important to take a step back. And I have done it. And I know a lot of people on this path have definitely been in isolation for a long time, and then you come out and you're like, okay, you're not so much like letting information in, but it's more like, what can I do to share? How can I show up for other people? And this is an amazing platform. We would have never met if it wasn't for Facebook. I think it's, if we utilize it properly, if we utilize it for, our mission and our work and connecting with other individuals, and it's unbelievable what happens. Like I'm meeting friends in real life now that I've met online in communities, and I'm seeing people like, well, you're seeing them too, smoothie challenge for 10 days and they're losing all this weight, and like you're actually helping them transform their life from this platform. Like it's unbelievable, but we have to know who we are. We have to have and I still struggle with my phone addiction. I'm not saying like I'm perfect, right? But the more we are filled with our own cup, the less we use it as a way to fill the void inside. It's more like, oh, we're giving from this overflow. It's so beautiful, everything you're saying. Was there any challenges that you experienced when you were transitioning to all fruit? Like cravings? You must have been, right? Were you having any cravings? Were you, dealing with any kind of emotional detox? What happened like in terms of your emotions during that period? Like you must have started realizing all the things that you were trying to repress with the food and the alcohol. What was going on for you emotionally, and did you get any support?
That's a tough question. You know why? Because when you start feeling real good and like I feel good, it's hard to remember when you felt really bad.
Yeah, that's true.
So I can only remember the things that I used to do and know how bad they are. But to say how I felt, I can't tell you emotionally, no. As far as cravings and stuff, I didn't understand that because I was eating so bad. I still ate bad after I started juicing. I still was eating and smoking and drinking. Not drinking, I wasn't drinking, but I was eating bad, smoking cigarettes, smoking marijuana, doing ecstasy pills. I did all that up until May. So it was kind of like a different approach. You know what I'm saying? So the way people change their life, I didn't do it that way. I didn't cut off everything and struggle through the pain, and I didn't do that. I don't do that to myself now. I'm not perfect. You know what I'm saying? Like I have challenges. I still have cravings. I'm not all the way where I want to be. I'm only 9 months in. You know what I'm saying? So the progress that I'm making, I'm really ahead of progress. I'm really ahead of schedule.
Yeah.
So I'm taking it all in and I'm learning from myself. So that's what the challenges was created for, because I feel like challenging yourself creates opportunity. And when you understand how far you can go, you go there. And that's what it is. So I'm challenging myself to see how far I can go. And what's about to happen is in January, just not to really get off subject, but in January, I'm doing 4 mono challenges. I've announced 3 of them. I'm doing 4 of them for the whole month. Wow. And I'm going to have 4 different fruits for the whole month. Then I'm doing a 21-day juice fast leading up to my sobriety. And then once I get done with that, I'm going to be on a different level.
Yes.
And, and evolve. And then we'll go from there. But that's the plan. So challenging yourself creates opportunity. So yes, I have challenges all the time. And I have cravings to this day. And I want, but I know what I will not do. And I know if I do something, I know how to get rid of it from my body, at least in a sense. So, yeah. So yes, it's the whole experience has been a challenge. So I go through cravings, I go through people challenging me, all of that. Yeah.
So what I'm hearing is that you are focused on the vision of your future too. You know, you definitely have this commitment to this version of yourself. By the way, I can't even imagine what vibration you're going to be on after January. You're already flying.
Thank you.
Like, get ready for this. You know what I mean? Like electricity just like shooting out of you.
That's the plan. That's the plan.
That's what happens. Yes. You know, like your smile, your joy, your happiness, your sense of well-being, like it is 100% because of how you're consuming, you know, what you're putting into your body, like depression, anxiety. Like we have this misconception that it's all in here, that it's like the brain. Oh, you need an antidepressant. Oh, you need this. That's why, you know, you felt so good with the ecstasy. That's why you felt so good with the drugs, because they were helping you momentarily, but over time, like true joy, true happiness, true sense of well-being and confidence come from putting in the right nutrition, right? 100%. And I really love how you said, I wrote this down, challenging yourself creates opportunity, because it's like giving up the temporary satisfaction, the temporary, not even satisfaction, like relief, you know, temporary relief, an illusion, right? An illusion of satisfaction, an illusion of, you know, but then what are the consequences to that versus what are the consequences of riding that wave of the craving and challenge, and really like finding that strength within, to not have that drink, to not have that smoke, to not have that meal, creates like so many more benefits long term. But it's like remembering that we're in it for the long game, you know, we're not in it for like just today. And I think a lot of the time that's why we get stuck, right, in our addictions. It's like and it's like this never-ending cycle, this never-ending loop of need more. It's like, you know, one is too many and 1,000 is never enough. You know, that's what we say in NA. It's like one is too many and 1,000 is never enough, because where does it end, you know? So I definitely resonate with that a lot. And I, you know, have a lot of respect and admiration for you for having overcome and having seen not just, you know, the mess you had created perhaps, but like being ready to take on the responsibility that you needed to take as a man, as a dad, to make things better. You know, it takes a lot of humility to admit like, oh my God, my life is a disaster, you know, my relations are in a mess, and look at what I've created. But then also look at how lucky your kids are to see you changing that and doing better for yourself. Like that, you know, is like such a warrior story that will help them in their life to really like everybody goes through hard times, but a lot of people cower in fear. They go away, they run away because they're so ashamed. They feel so guilty. But like, there's nothing better than, you know, our children seeing us trying. And everybody's journey is different. You know, I don't know what everybody else does, but I don't know anybody who went fruitarian in like a year, less than a year. Like, you know, usually it's a very much slower progression, and a lot of times we go back to our habits and we come back. Like it's more like this, you know, realistically it's not linear. It's hard to let go of all these addictions. It's hard to let go of these creatures of habit and these comforts of habit. But you know, it's so worth it. And you are the shining example that we can live off fruit, we can thrive off fruit, and we get activated with fruit. Like I feel like, you know, your whole mission in life now has been like kind of redirected. It's like, okay, here I am. This is what I'm here to do. This is my God's calling. And you're answering the call. And I don't know if that would have happened had you not changed your lifestyle. You know, it's almost like we get asked to be in these difficult, dark places to find the light and to become the light and to show people how it's done, you know, and people look at you and they're like, oh my God, if he could do it, I could do it too. Because God knows there's so many people out there struggling in silence, struggling and not really knowing how to do it. So it's really unbelievable that you're showing us all how it's done. What advice would you give to somebody who's starting off, who's very, very overweight, for example, and doesn't really know where to start? What advice would you give to them to come on this path more?
It depends on who it is. Everybody not gonna make it. Everybody not built to progress. You have to want to, and that's the realization of this. I didn't get here because somebody forced me to. And when I say get here, somebody be like, where are you at? Where I'm at in my head mentally. The confidence I have in myself, the knowing of my abilities. That's what I'm talking about. And those things that you can't show someone, it takes time to prove it. And that's what I'm on the journey to doing now. I just came to realization over the last 40 days, what I'm here for, basically. Mm-hmm. And that's what you say, what I'm here for. I think that's what I'm truly here for, to inspire and help people by just telling my story, because I had the discipline and the determination to overcome what we call things that are difficult to overcome, which they really are not. It's all in your mind. When you want to stop doing something, you'll stop doing it. Just like when you want to do something, you do it. I mean, it's the same thing. We baby our people into saying that things are okay or things are all right when they don't have the strength. You have to build up the strength. And even if you're talking to somebody every day about getting better and getting healthier, that's you giving away strength to build them up. So who you want to give your strength to, I give it to people who really want to change themselves. Mm-hmm. Only advice I can give you is what I'm telling you I did. Other than that, if you can't do what I did, do what you do. And if you're not going to follow what I do, go do what you need to do. Because I don't know. If you're not inspired by what I do, I don't really have nothing else to say. That's why I post what I post. I put out challenges. I charge a low amount to help people out. If you don't trust that I can help you, go help yourself. Mm-hmm. And that's just the real message. I can't really explain it any other way. When you want to change, you'll change. You'll know it. If this interview helps you get up and change, then maybe that's when you wanted to change. Mm-hmm. But when you say you want to change and then continuously do the same things that stop you from being expressive of your true self, then and then you continuously do that, that's called a liar. And that's what I was for so many years of my life. I just, for the first time in my life, started experiencing what you call true love. I never had joy the way I have it. I never had conversations the way I have them. So everything that ever happened in my life is sort of irrelevant in a sense, beyond the pain that I went through, because I don't want that anymore.
Amen. That's deep. There's like it's like a connection, you're aligned. Your mind, your body, your spirit are in tune. Sometimes when we're caught up in these addictions, like maybe our mind wants something, but our body wants something else, and our soul is saying something else. But now I really feel you're in full alignment of your highest self. And all the magic comes from that, from honoring yourself above all else, and it's not about what other people think. It's not about pleasing anymore. We were having this amazing conversation last night with Queen Tiff too. And she just really blew my mind, because she was like, no bullshit. Like, if somebody disrespects my way of eating or says even a little comment or a joke, because I have surely let a lot of people joke and I just let it slide. And she really, I thought about it after, because I was like, oh my God, there's a lot of that negativity in our life that we don't really realize. But yeah, don't be scared of saying no to people and setting your boundaries for yourself. I feel like that's the only way, because if we keep playing small for everybody around us, we're never going to go far. And we're just not rising to our fullest potential, which means those around us won't get to be inspired by us, our bright light.
I actually watched that interview. That was a great interview, by the way. Shout out to Tiff.
Yes.
She's one of my personal Facebook friends.
I
never met her personally, but yeah, she is. her story is too. But I heard when y'all talked about that, and I think I commented on it.
Yeah.
And you know, people who have things to say about you, like if somebody tells me like you're losing too much weight or you're getting too skinny, I'll give them a compliment about the, like your stomach hangs out too much, or you know, because what it is you give back the same energy, and when you do that, people are appalled at first, but that's okay, because being appalled is a reaction that helps you, is a relief that helps you overcome what you just did to someone. So I get it right back to them, and it helps them respect you more. So if you don't want reality thrown in your face, don't try to give somebody else their reality. That's how I look at it.
I love that. Yeah, there's definitely something to be said about skinny shaming. There's like,
Oh yeah,
it's not
yeah.
funny, but it's like you would never go to somebody that's overweight and be like, oh my God, you're so big, you know, or like have
Right.
never. But they could reserve the right to tell you if you're too small or too skinny. But it's like, it goes to show the insecurities that's going on inside of them. You know, they're probably like, oh, why is he getting so small and looking so good? And like it makes them feel insecure about themselves, you know, at the end of the day. And they maybe wish that they could do what you do. They maybe envy your level of self-control or discipline, you know, and there's some that will be very inspired, but some that will be very jealous. You know, that's the reality of life. You know, we will, you know, perhaps experience that same jealousy towards other people. There's always someone out there that like looks better than us, that does better than us, that we feel is smarter than us. Like there's always going to be that, and you could be that for somebody, you know. So it's just
Right,
part of
right.
life. But to like not project our insecurities onto somebody. I've actually been like looking into this quite extensively recently, and when I was watching this Buddhist monk, and he was like, this is how you deal with those feelings, right, that arise. And he goes, look to them, and you could ask it in your mind, you could observe them and see what it is about them that you love so much, that you actually admire in them, that you kind of wish you had, right? If we're feeling envious, if we're feeling jealous, it's because there's something there that maybe we're missing in our life. You know, maybe they're so comfortable with their sexuality, maybe they're so comfortable public speaking, maybe they're so punctual, you know, they have these qualities that maybe we're lacking a little bit, but that we could develop. And even if we're brave enough, we could go and ask them, you know, how do you do this? How did you overcome? How did you become such a great public speaker? You know, like things like that, because everybody is an overcomer in this life to some extent. So that's really helped me a lot, because people, and my coach calls them expanders, you know, these are expanders in our life that help us to expand. So let's not play small and stay with those lower vibration emotions of envy and jealousy, and try to move through them. I'm not saying they're bad emotions. I think they're natural emotions, but they could also help us, you know, like when we're feeling triggered and things like that. That's like true higher consciousness. It's like learning to work with our triggers and to see that there are blessings. The blessings are like so in our triggers, because they're there to show us what it is that we really want to work on ourselves. And like you said, we meet so many amazing people that are on this path that are like, hell yeah, oh my gosh, I wish I'm trying to do what you're doing, you know. And it's like, I admire you and I respect you, and it's like, that's how we really grow. And I really feel like community is so important, and what you're creating is so important. In your community, you're consistent, you show up every day, you're there for your people, and it's really amazing to watch. So how can people join your next challenge? Tell us a little bit about what's coming up next. I know you have a 10-day smoothie challenge right now. If people want to join, if they want to get in touch with you, get support, how can they do that?
We got the 10-day smoothie challenge going on right now inside the Fruit Up with Bobby Smith group on Facebook. And what happens is you join the group and you inbox me for the invite. You inbox me, you let me know that you're interested. So we have a fruit bowl challenge going on starting December 13th.
Okay.
And that's going to be $5 entry fee. Okay. You inbox me for the and let me know that you're interested. Once you send me your $5, I'll send you an invite to that personal group. Okay. And once you get the invite to the group, we wait till the challenge begins, and we'll navigate from there. But what's happening is I'm inspiring. I think you were in the group. You were in the group for the first few days.
I'm attempting it, but it's not going too good.
No, it's fine. And what happens is people learn that when you challenge yourself, you have to really truly be ready. And it just is what it is. And I don't show any mercy to anyone. The rules are the rules. What happens. You enter the challenge knowing the guidelines. So when you don't follow it, I have been a little lenient because this challenge has kind of opened me up a little bit and made me care a little bit more about people and helping people, because some people are truly getting help and inspired. So we got the Fruit Bowl challenge coming up on the 13th. And once you pay your $5, you get so inspired by the group help. It's real consistent, it's real interactive, supportive, and people care about challenging themselves. Nobody wants to fail once they committed to doing something. So especially when you pay for it, I don't care if it's 50 cents, you know, that adds value to something that you're committing to. So so join these challenges. You'll be inspired. It's only a challenge to see if you're ready to transition or see where you're at in the transition. See how far you can go. And you will truly be inspired. The group Fruit Up with Bobby Smith is growing. It's a lot of interaction in there too, a lot of sharing and information going on. So that's what we're here for. I'm just here to show people what I've done and that it works because I feel good. The fact that I look different and that comes with it, but the fact that I feel different and I am different is what's most important. And that's what I want people to understand.
Yes, exactly. No, it's amazing. And I think a lot of people are getting so much benefit from it. And I think there's a time, like you said, you know, you have to be committed to it. You have to know your why. You have to have a strong reason why you're doing this, right? And I think, you know, I'll just share my experience. I think I like decided to join like a little bit, you know, at the last minute. And I was just like, okay, let me do this, like, because it sounds like fun. But then I was just like, you know, I'm in Montreal. It's really cold here. You know, like there were like a few elements. I was like, is this the right time for, and I'm not saying you can't smoothie challenge, like, you know, in the winter time, but like, you know, I was able to do like some extensive juicing and some water fasting, but like the timing too, I think is really important. So it's good to check in with yourself and be like, am I really ready to commit to this right now in my life? You know, maybe there's some seasons for feasting, there's some seasons for fasting, and it's all good. And like that, but yeah, nobody, but it's interesting because I usually would have like so beat myself up and I would have been like, oh my God, Aline, like you're such a failure, like you didn't do it right, da, da, da. But this time I was just like, okay, like it's not the right time, you know, and it doesn't mean I can't join another one. I just like having a lot of self-compassion and a lot of self-love and understanding for what it is. But yeah, I've been like, it actually feels really good. It's funny because I hadn't really been making smoothies much. I was more like into the juices, and so I took out the blender and I was just like, okay, let me get into this. But I love the smoothie bowl. Can we put bananas in the smoothie bowl? Or
listen. So you can still do bananas in the juice in the smoothies if you want to. The thing about it is, with the fruits, I like high water because they're easier to blend. You don't have to add things to them. And with the Fruit Bowl challenge and all this stuff, it's not a failure or a winning to it. It's a see how far I can get. And when you signed up for it, I don't think people understand, like, not saying that you didn't, but the seriousness of how I'm taking it. You know what I mean? I'm actually in there holding people accountable and challenging people to do their best when they commit to something. I didn't bring you here. You're in my group challenging yourself, and I'm here to help you challenge yourself. And I'm actually challenging myself with you. So the commitment is where it starts. The challenge itself, even in the cold weather, is a challenge. You're going to be cold drinking smoothies. The complete challenges that we're doing is challenge you completely. When you change your life, you got to be ready for responsibility to maintain it. And that's what the challenges do. They see how far you can get to where you want to get. And it's nothing wrong with coming into a challenge and lasting 3 or 4 days. if that's what you wanted to do. If you wanted to complete the challenge, you complete the challenge. I'm just here to help you if you want to complete the challenge. You know what I'm saying? I'm not forcing people or telling people that they should do the challenge in any type of way beyond, I think it will make you feel better and progress you in transitioning. But yeah, I have multiple challenges coming up in January. I got a citrus challenge. I got a grape eating challenge. I got a pear eating challenge. And actually, I'm gonna do 2 weeks of oranges, and 1 week I'm gonna put some juicing into it. So yeah, I'm gonna do that until I catapult myself into the 21-day juice feast. And after that, sky's the limit. It's gonna be challenges everywhere.
Yes. Awesome. I would love to challenge myself to a mono fruit cleanse. I have never done that before. I will definitely jump on board. I've always wanted to do the grape one, especially. I don't know about the pear.
Yeah, a lot of people say they want to do the grape. Yeah, the pear is a real gut cleanser, and I say, it's real good for the digestive system. And that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to cleanse out, but it takes a real high level of discipline to get through these type of challenges. And that's what I'm here for.
Definitely. Well, you must have been seeing a lot of old waste coming out over the last few months, right? With these fruits, because they're the most detoxifying. They're, the food, the highest astringent food on the planet, able to pull out mucus without too much detail. Well, I mean, if you want to go into details, like by all means, but it's so important to talk about elimination, when we talk about health, when we talk about true healing. Was it like scaring you, the amount that was coming out and all of that? Were you like, holy shit, like I can't believe this was all in me?
Well, okay, so the first month or so, I did so much juicing that it was like real liquidy. So after that, though, well, let me talk about it right now. Right now, my digestion is a good experience. Like I tell people, I never enjoyed the experience of elimination. And now I look forward to it. It's kind of odd, but it's real. And the way I eliminate is so efficient and smooth and quick, and it doesn't smell or anything. Like people say, like your shit don't stink. Like
exactly,
no, it don't. It don't. And that's real talk. So it's becoming an enjoyable experience because the smoothies, especially, they flow so smoothly. Like no, it's just crazy. So what happened? I didn't really document a lot of my experience. You know what I mean? I just kind of went into it and just kept my head down and went into it. And now I'm at this point where now I'm learning. So I'm still early into the journey. I just progressed so much because of my past experience and knowledge. It's like it's kind of ahead of schedule, but behind schedule. So yeah, so the elimination process, it's been a beautiful process that I can remember now. But when I first started, I really can't remember much about it. You know what I'm saying? I really can't.
I think it's so important, and we don't really necessarily talk about it too much, but I think that's a great way to reach people in their heart and in their experience, because I was definitely dealing with a lot of IBS, constipation, from constipation to diarrhea. Like I thought it was normal to not go to the bathroom for 5 days. Like literally when I was eating meat and the regular, I had a slow metabolism. My stomach wasn't breaking things down. I was like bloated. Sometimes my stomach was in pain. That's how I found the living foods path, really, because I was like researching it, and I didn't want to take laxatives. So I just found out that meat takes so much longer to digest in the system, and so it could get backed up sometimes, especially if you're not eating a lot of fruit. But then even fruit, if you're eating a lot of meat, could create fermentation. So you want to, you know what I mean? Like you want to be careful too, like how you eat the food. Like if someone is eating meat, like don't eat it with fruit. Like you're gonna think the fruit is the problem. The fruit is not the problem. It's like exposing there's a blockage there, and there's often a lot of blockages. But yeah, and like the elimination is everything. And when you were talking about the mind, mental health, you cannot have healthy mind if your body is not healthy. If you were like holding in that amount of poop in your body that's like releasing toxins in your system, like how can you have a clear mind? So I think it is the number one thing is the elimination, quick bowel transit time. When we eat something, we know it's going to come out like pretty soon after. We don't have to wait. It's just like the greatest miracle ever is being on a fruit-based diet is like so powerful. And a little bit of leafy greens, you know, that's still part of the, you know, fruitarian umbrella. If somebody chooses to have a little bit of, you know, herbs or leafy greens, I think it's okay. Personally, I think it's okay. Everybody has their own definition. What do you think of that? Like when you say fruitarian, like, do you still have a little bit of leafy greens or not at all, just fruit? Or would you allow yourself, like, how do you feel about the salads and the little bit of veggies?
I love it. See, my goal is to, after all the challenges, the upcoming challenges that I presented, after the 21-day juice fast, I'm going to go to a diet where I eat fruits all day and have a raw meal at night.
Perfect.
That's going to be the optimal way of eating for me going forward. All raw though. I have considered eating a cooked meal or so, maybe quarterly or something like that. But for the most part, I'm going to be raw. Now, I think people get a misconception or misperception of what cooked food is. I do eat sometimes like lentil chips and things like that, and that's cooked food. So every form of cooked food is I'm trying to stay away from. I don't want to actually cook my food.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that's it. But I don't. Salads are a part of the fruitarian way of living. You're supposed to eat some greens to a certain extent, vegetables and root vegetables and things like that. So yeah, I don't have no problem with that. People who say that you eat 100% fruit, that's their decision. I don't think there's any particular way or specific way that everyone is supposed to eat. Everybody's designed, every people, color of race and everything is designed differently, I think. So I eat the way that my teachers like Yaki and Dr. Sebi and those people tell you how to eat. So to the best of my ability. I'm not perfect, nor do I strive to be. So yeah, I think it's fine.
Perfect. Thank you for that clarification. I think there's a lot of misconception in the, you know, in the world of, you know, this holistic world. But again, it's like, it all depends on you, right? Even raw vegan, you know, the label, it doesn't mean necessarily, you know, some people say 80% and more, you're considered raw vegan. You know, you could still have a little bit of steamed broccoli, and then there's levels of what the cooked foods you eat, the quality of the cooked foods you eat. Like, are you going to like the breads and the pastas and the fake meats, or are you going towards the whole food, plant-based cooked foods, like a little bit of sweet potatoes, you know, some steamed broccoli or things like that. Like, you know, I definitely stay away from the grains. I have been to them like over the last 3 months to experiment, you know, after being completely raw for almost 3 years. I was just like, oh, let me just experiment. And for me, it's a slippery slope. It's very difficult for me to just be like, oh, I'm just going to have one cooked meal.
Let me ask you something. What were you experimenting?
Was I experimenting? Well, I was feeling a little bit like, how do you say? I feel like I needed to experience a little bit of maybe flexibility with my mental, my mindset. You know, I was so obsessed with being 100%, making no mistakes. It was like that perfectionism that kicked in, right? And yes, like I was so desperate for healing, right? When I came into this lifestyle, I was like, I'm gonna go all juices. I did like 113 days on juices, and then I went all raw. After that, you know, with a couple like meals where I was just like still transitioning, but it was just like sometimes I think, I'm not saying all the time, but knowing my history, knowing where I came from, because I came from an anorexia background, I came from a bulimia background, right? Of like a lot of being very rigid with myself, being very obsessed, and a lot of fears around foods. I'm opening up here, but like, yeah, I was very, very obsessed, like calorie counting. And as much as I was underweight, I have also gone through periods where I was completely overweight, and I just kind of fluctuated between those two. But when the mental obsession sets in, I know it's not healthy for me. And I was on a plant medicine retreat actually, and I got the message from medicine to just eat. It was just like, let it go. And maybe it was just for that time being, right? Medicine sometimes works in those ways in us, for us to surrender, for us to also recommit to our path in a healthier way. I think it's my attachment to the lifestyle that was unhealthy. Do you know what I mean? There was like a lot of ego involved in it. There was a lot of, I have to be this, you know, raw vegan queen and da 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 da. Like, it was like very obsessed with the title, you know. And now it's more like, can I be more fluid with it? And look, I had a little like vegetable soup the other day with my mom, and I'm like, I'm still raw. It's okay. But it's like that I was so uncomfortable with it because I just expect a lot from myself, and I think it's a good thing. But I don't know. I'm like kind of going in loop, but I think it's my attachment to it that needed to become more healthy. But then I saw what the cooked foods did to me too. I needed to go back there to almost like really see, almost like a relapse, right? I've relapsed many times into drugs and alcohol. For me, it was not a clean cut at all. It was many fallbacks, but each time I got stronger after I recommitted. I got the message like, this is my path. I'm fully surrendering in a way that's like without so much ego, without so much obsessiveness, and a little bit more wiggle room. But like, I'm not going back to the rice, to any of that. That, I don't know, it's almost like I had to test the waters again and to see what it was like. And I put on a lot of weight in like 3 months. I put on like 14 pounds. That's a lot of weight, you know, and eating whole food, plant-based with a little bit of grains here and there. But yeah, it was bringing on these binges. It was bringing on this like, I couldn't stop thinking about it, you know, like, where's my next meal going to be? But like, I don't have that with fruit. It's a more, it's an easier experience of like, okay, I could have this. And when I'm full, I stop. But with the cooked food and the salt and the hyper stimulating spices, I just like, I don't know, it goes, but there's a lot of work to be done. You know, I'm just evaluating what is healthy and what is an eating disorder, what is an addiction, all of that. So I'm just kind of like navigating these waters. Yeah.
Right. Thank you.
There's a lot of inner work.
Yeah.
I actually heard somewhere too, I don't know where I heard this, but somebody said like, do not go to the path of living foods if you have an eating disorder. And I don't necessarily agree with that, but I think if we are coming into this and we have had a history of a lot of restriction, a lot of self-punishment, we do have to maybe get support on an emotional level so that we deal with those emotions and it doesn't get transferred into the food, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I like to ask questions about people's experience, because my experience has been so unique, and but not really, because if you would have known me, you kind of know that I've been struggling with getting in and out of the lifestyle.
Yeah.
But it's crazy because I can't really relate to certain things. Like, for instance, when I met you, I didn't understand your euphoria, your happiness, your feel like how you understand your feelings so much. Like, I'm like, that gotta be fake. You know what I'm saying? Like, she faking.
Oh my
because think about it, I don't get it. I don't feel like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's like you don't really know how people truly feel. So that's why I tell people to just start putting the fruits inside you.
Yes.
Because they're going to change how you feel. Like, so people, I get the same reaction. People be like, you're not really that way, or certain people don't think you really truly change, and you have to show them by doing this, what you do every day. So the fact that you tested yourself to come out of the state of perfection that you were trying to be in is called progression. You know what I'm saying? It's like the perfect, trying to see who it is. So I definitely am encouraged by that. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, I'm definitely, not always in the greatest moods, but I'm definitely like, but again, like the depths, I have allowed myself to go. I'm very emotional. My partner doesn't even know what to do with me. He's just like I will cry. Like I have all the emotions. I experience all the emotions, the range. and I allow myself to feel them now. I was always a pretty cheery person, even when I was like not super healthy. Like even when I was like cracked out, I was still like laughing. I was still like that's my personality, you know. But I was numbing the sadness, I was numbing the pain, and so I wasn't experiencing this like fullest expansion of joy. Like this is new to me, and like you said, it is worth everything. Like I don't even, you know, something happened to him, like what is even a disorder? Like if I'm feeling my best, like who's going to come and tell me this is an eating disorder? Who's going to come and tell me I'm struggling with orthorexia or whatever they want to call it, right? But it's more like at the end of the day, like how do I feel with myself? Am I feeling good? Am I feeling proud of myself? Am I feeling like I'm honoring myself? You know, because even when I was eating the cooked food, there was part of me that was like, yes, I'm honoring a part of me, but like, I'm not honoring my highest good. Like, I'm not going to the bathroom as good. I'm not in my best mood. I didn't want to do so many interviews. I wasn't as motivated. Like, you know, like the depression was starting to creep back in. And I know if I had continued down that path, it would have come back. Like it's literally my mental health is what matters the most at this point. My mission, my work, these interviews, like this is where my passion is. So, you know, if somebody wants to judge me, like it comes down to like, we need to know ourselves and be so strong in ourselves and our truth. Like, you know, people thought I was crazy when I was dry fasting or water fasting, but it's like, I get these callings too, these challenges, I guess, from God, you know, to go deeper and to develop my spiritual self more and more and more. And there is no end to it, you know, we're just going to keep continuing to up level. So I feel like I'm in a better place now. I feel like it's not so, it's not coming like from such a restrictive place, but it's like I had to go there. I almost like had to even look at my body at a certain weight again and be like, oh, like, you know, here we are again. And like, can I love myself can I love myself even with this extra weight? Or am I going to continue to like beat myself up for the rest of my life for not being like, you know, perfect or whatever? So oh, I'm happy you're resonating. Queen Lachey says she relates to what I'm saying, and Queen Karen too. Yeah. Thanks. I'm making sense. I'm not sure.
What's up, Queens?
It's good to have you on. Thank you so much for joining us. But yeah, I think you're on the right track. You're doing so amazing. I know what to get myself into when I come into another challenge with you next time. And I won't play around. I won't mess around.
Definitely. It was good having you though. Definitely. Everything's been great. I just look forward to everything that I'm doing and everybody who's joining what I'm doing. I appreciate them. For my group members or who doing the challenge now, I definitely appreciate them. They've been doing excellent. And I love people who love me, and I love things that love me. And the things that love me are the fruits and the things that I do for myself. So that's where I'm at right now until I create something else.
Yeah. Speaking of people who love you, can we mention King Marcus for a minute here? Because
That's my guy.
He has been really, you know, speaking so highly of you, and he loves you like a brother, and he says that you're his mentor, even though you're younger than him, and he just speaks so highly of you, and look at the impact that you've had on his life. And, you know, you connected us too. So we had an amazing interview too. So I thank you for that. Thank you for branching out and connecting all these amazing light workers together, because that's what it's all about. And we're changing the world, you know, by healing ourselves. It's no small matter, you know, what we're doing. We literally are having such a ripple effect all around us. And
yes,
tell us a little bit about your children. They must be so happy to see you doing better. How are your kids reacting to everything?
You know, everything is still in motion as far as getting things figured out with kids. And the thing that I can say about them is I love them more. I care about them more. I want to do better for them now. They are now an inspiration when they weren't before. I want them to feel good. I want their future to be bright. So in order to do that, I'm putting in all the work that I can for them right now. Everything is not peachy. I still see my kids as much as I want to. the relationship with their mothers is better than it's ever been, even though it's not the best. I'm content with where things are at right now, as far as me and my progress and decision making, as far as those things go. So my kids are definitely joyous. The relationship with my daughter has strengthened. We have deeper conversations. She confides with me even more. My son is learning more. He lost 11 pounds over the summer when I put him on watermelon juice because he's a obese child. So those are things that I'm in the progress. See, my life that coincides with this life is still in the works, just like this one. So when you're trying to figure all this out just to become this person that's standing in front of you or sitting in front of you, it's things to figure out on that side. So I'm not upset or angry about anything anymore. I'm just happy about the progression, and I look forward to bettering both sides of my life.
Wow.
Yes. And as far as Marcus, that's my brother. Yeah, he's a good guy. I just met Marcus October 1st. So he calls me all the time and we talk, and he's a very energetic guy. He's a real caring guy. You can tell that he really cares about people. And that's what drew me to him. All these people that I connect with online. Yeah. Definitely.
King Marcus, you're amazing. Thank you for all you do. He's also lost so much weight with this lifestyle and making videos all the time, and plant-based miracles is his group.
I'm in that group too. I'm a moderator there.
Okay, great. Yeah. Wow, look at us all having our communities and sharing the light, sharing the love. Is there anything else that you'd like to talk about in this interview or share a message with our audience?
I just want to thank you for bringing me on for a second time. I really enjoyed the conversation. You can have me back anytime, especially as we both continue to grow and nourish the community with information and knowledge. I think it's important for people who watching to understand that you were inspiring to me, and I reached out to you, I think, first. And I love what you're doing. You're an incredible light worker. And for people who think that they can't do something, know that you can. And that's all you have to know to change, is that you can change. So no one's incapable unless they say they are. And fruit up. Fruit up.
I love it. It's like it's like the solution to everything. It's just fruit up.
Fruit up. Yeah, it is. It really is.
Fruit up. Go fruit yourself. I saw that as a hashtag too. That was funny. Hashtag go fruit yourself.
Facts.
Yes. Well, if anybody is interested in learning more, let them reach out to you, King Bobby Smith, on Facebook, join his community, and reach out if you have any questions. He's so helpful and really, really a true, servant of the Most High. I just want to bring that up because at the end of the day, it's our connection to God too that helps us move forward. Like, people are amazing. We love to work for people, and it's like, I work for the big man. Like, I work for him. I am like learning. I'm just following guidance, and I see you doing that too. And like really deepening your connection with your higher spirit, and that's what it's all about. And he works through people. So if anybody's hearing this message, like, he is definitely speaking through you by divine grace. And in your own way, we all have our way of expressing ourselves. And it's so funny you say that, because that was like actually one of my hangups. Thinking like, oh, I'm so. And I just want to share this to like show that everybody can do this if they choose to, because first of all, I was super shy, but I also thought I was like kind of ditzy and like not really smart, and like I laughed too much, and oh my gosh, like I always felt I don't know, like I wasn't serious enough to do this work, but I'm learning and I'm growing, and it's not like I'm not stunting my personality at all. It's like on the contrary, like I find myself finding more confidence in myself and like letting my true colors shine, my awkwardness, my silliness, my whatever. But anybody could do this. Anybody could like break out of their shell, break out of their mold, and start believing in themselves. And those things that you think like are kind of not the best things about you are actually the best things about you. And what people will appreciate.
Yes. I agree. I've learned that over the journey too, because things that I used to do, I don't do any longer, but things that I become and that people don't like, I don't mind, because that's just who I am now. So it's like you take it or leave it. And I'm not a no nonsense type of guy, but because everybody go through some nonsense, but I don't believe in liars no more because I was such a liar for so long, and I know what liars are. They make themselves incapable. So that's where I'm at with it.
Like they lie to themselves to think that they can't do it. Is that what you mean?
Yeah. I mean, lying to yourself is one of the worst things you could do because it stops you from progressing. In order to overcome, you got to get over the lie to yourself. And that's just a fact.
Whoa.
You know what I'm saying? It's just a fact. Like, you got to stop lying to yourself. And people who lie to themselves lie to others with ease. So,
whoa.
yeah.
That's deep.
Yeah.
Wow. I think we all,
facts.
wow, that's something that's I definitely, still lie to myself about certain things for sure.
We all do. We all do. Just admit that you lied. The fact that you admit that you lied to yourself is a progression.
Well, you're showing us all that we are, more powerful than we could even imagine, and becoming aware of those lies. I think maybe sometimes we're not even aware that we're lying to ourselves. We don't even know what our internal dialogue is.
You lie to yourself even when you say a person who eat meat, they're lying to themselves by saying that they eat meat because meat is the flesh of fruits. So you're eating animals, and you need to say that, and it'll help you stop eating them. Can't own them and eat them.
Facts. I know. Even the fact that they changed all the names, right? Like we don't eat pig, we eat pork. Or we don't eat cow, we eat beef. Like there's no coincidence why they changed those names to make us continue the delusion, and continue living in this death culture without fully connecting the reality of it. Like they say, was it Paul McCartney who said if slaughterhouses had glass walls, everybody would be vegetarian?
Yeah.
And then we take it a little bit further, and it's like if all dairy farms had glass walls, and all vegetarians would be vegan, because we would see the horror that are happening behind those doors. And even people are like, oh my God, I don't want to see those documentaries. I don't want to see it. I know what's going on. Well, you need to see it. Like there's a reason why you don't want to see it, because you want to continue with your habits. But also it's like, which came first, the chicken or the egg, right? Like I always loved animals, but going plant-based helped me to love them even more. It helped me to really connect with them on that deep level. There's definitely a disconnect that's happened in society. Speciesism, that says, okay, certain animals, we want to protect them. Like, don't beat up that dog. Like, I'm going to tell you about you beating up that dog, you crazy person. But they're like eating pork chops, and it's just like, what? You know what I mean? Like you care about that dog, but you don't care about other animals. So there's definitely in our minds and our hearts, like, okay, fish is okay, but not this. Oh no, I would never eat my dog. Like, oh no, but they're eating it in China. Like, what's wrong with that? You know what I mean? Like you would never eat, I don't know, shark, but you're eating fish. Like, what is the logic behind that? So for me, it's like all or nothing. If I'm not ready to hunt it, if I don't want to see the blood, if I get grossed out because my inner wisdom and guidance is telling me that that's just not food anymore, then it's not
it's crazy. And like that's what I say. If you start eating the fruits, clarity comes with time. So the fruits will slowly start to create clarity for you. What happens is the more you input, the more you think like, should I be doing that? Or is it okay to do that? And those questions arise so much that you start having a war inside your head, and eventually something's got to win the war. And the fruits help those thoughts win wars. That's what happens. So it helped me overcome certain things and certain decisions that I would have made. And that's slow building clarity from eating fruits.
It literally raises the consciousness, right? It literally helps you to see better. It also decalcifies the pineal gland, which is the seat of our soul, which helps us to see, right? The third eye, which society, governments have tried really hard to block, literally, with the fluoride in the food, in the water, and the chemicals in the foods. Like all of these things have been meant to keep us oppressed, keep us suppressed, keep us under spells, and believe, if we're watching television, if we're listening to certain music, like we're definitely getting programmed in a certain way. And what the fruit has been doing, like you said, it's like a lifting of the veil,
Yeah.
a seeing
Yeah.
of the truth. And it's no coincidence why so many people that are on this lifestyle, when they came out with the vax and all these mandates a few years ago, they were like, hell no, like this is just not happening. You know what I mean? Like,
No.
why the hell would I put something like that in my body? Because that just doesn't feel right. But like a lot of people that, you know, I'm not saying necessarily everybody that's on the path, you know, felt that way. Anyway, it's not everybody. And I know some people that
Right.
aren't on the path that said no to it too. I'm not saying it's necessary, but like most of the community that were like on fruit, raw vegan, healing themselves, doing plant medicine, it was like a big no for all of us, you know, like there's no question about it. And I was just like, I don't even understand how people could think that this is going to help them, right? So we already have this inner intuition, this knowledge of how to heal ourselves and how to protect ourselves too. So it's just wild what we will accept from others if we accept certain things for ourselves. You know, if we're putting in toxic foods in our bodies, we will accept toxic behaviors from other people. 100%.
Facts. Facts.
Well.
Yes. Indeed.
Hey, King Marcus just joined us. Hey, King Marcus.
What's up, Marcus?
You're both awesome. You're awesome. We're so happy you're here with us. We were just talking about you. You must have felt our energies. We were definitely talking about you and singing your praises and saying how amazing you are. Well, thank you so much for joining me once again. I am super happy.
Yes.
This will go on YouTube as well for all of our friends and family to see and the world to see. And I would love to have another talk with you, definitely, as we continue to evolve and grow.
Facts. Thanks for having me. I appreciate you.
Much blessings to you, and blessings to everybody who showed up with us and who are sharing their journeys and up leveling as well. Fruit up.
Facts. Fruit up.
All right.
Peace,
Until the
Queen.
next time. All right. See you later, King. Bye.